I am a petroleum engineer in my junior year at BSU, the National Engineering University. This video is inspired by my little cousins who are repeatedly asking me for advice on time management. I was a mediocre B grade student, but what I mean by B is below average. During my flop era, I became depressed and burned out on everything. I questioned my abilities and myself. And then one day, my life underwent a significant turning point. I remembered that I am not a quitter. I turned my crisis into an opportunity. I told myself that I came here to change my life. And this setup works on my personal preferences. Priming, second brain, Pomodoro Technique, Feynman Technique, Blurting method, and Interleaving. Some of you might hear this and some might not. During the first meetup, the professor showed the syllabus of the whole semester. This is very important because it consists of rules and regulations, what topics will be covered, books used, and schedule of assignment and test. If the professor is discussing the syllabus, take a picture or ask if the class can have a copy. Then you could do priming.
Priming is a technique used to help you develop a clear and comprehensive grasp of a subject by starting with the identification of important groups and linkages.
In this way, any new information can be arranged and connected, increasing the likelihood that it will be learned efficiently. So, how do I do this right? The right way to pre-study is, I read a topic that will be covered for 15 to 20 minutes and have an idea, but not exactly know what it means yet. And it's okay. The professor will then discuss them in the class. And now you can link those ideas and ask your professor for further questions if you don't get the lecture. The wrong way to pre-study is reading the textbook for 2 to 3 hours. You're not priming, you're getting sucked into the detail. It will drown you as you try to figure it out on your own, until the details you don't know overwhelms you. It is ineffective and adds unnecessary work.
2. Second brain relies on an external system for capturing, organizing, and archiving ideas rather than solely on your memory.
I use this technique because we tend to forget our ideas in one snap of a finger. We have these random ideas or quotes that inspires us. We have screenshots that we relate to, but we have no place to keep it. It's all dispersed and unorganized. That is why Building the Second Brain by Tiago Forte is a must-read book. He highlights the power system, which means, as you can see here, P for projects, store things you are actively working on. A for areas, store things of responsibility in your life. However, I am using spreadsheet for my bills, which is why this is empty, but I have a future plan here which I am not gonna show you because it is a future plan. It might be jinxed. And I don't want to be jinxed. And R for resources, which means store things like book notes and inspirations. A for archive, store things that are no longer needed but might be useful in the future. Okay, I'm going to show you example on how this works. I use Google Keep for fast note taking because it is flexible. You can use it in phone, iPad, or PC, as long as you have your Gmail signed in. This is a link to how to circle crop video in Premiere Pro, like I am doing right now. I'm going to put this on projects. I wrote this random note of realization, so it should be in my stream of consciousness.
Pomodoro Technique breaks down study sessions into more manageable time. I use 25 by 5 because I easily get bored and overwhelmed by the stuff I am learning, especially when it's difficult.
It means 25 minutes of learning and 5-minute break. After 3 reps, or 3 repetitions, I take a longer break for 10 minutes, which I usually take a nap or eat. And after my timer rings, I go back to learning again.
4. The Feynman Technique is a study strategy that involves explaining topic in your own words. During problem-solving matters, I always talk to myself.
Natin yung amazing forces na PNQ.
It helps me focus on myself rather than focusing on the pressure. 5. Blurting is where you quickly read over a textbook, close the book, and write down as much as you know or can remember.
Once you have done this, you reopen the book and compare your notes to the textbook to see what areas you know more about and what areas you need to revise more. I especially do this if our exam consists of essays. It can be done in two methods. 1. Switching back and forth within the same subject. And 2. Switching with multiple subjects. If I'm going to study physics for 3 hours, I'm going to break those study sessions in 3. 1 hour, 1 hour, and 1 hour. In those 1 hour, I'm going to break down those in 20 minutes, right? 1 hour for chapter 1, 1 hour for chapter 2, and 1 hour for chapter 3. However, instead of studying straight chapters, it is effective by alternating the topics in one subject. Therefore, you can connect how the ideas are related to one another, giving you a comprehensive grasp of the subject. Like this. You can see the first session is 20 minutes in chapter 1, 20 minutes in chapter 2, and 20 minutes in chapter 3. The second session, we have an hour again. 20 minutes in chapter 1, 20 minutes in chapter 2, and 20 minutes in chapter 3. In those 1 hour, we're going to have a break, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You can use Pomodoro while doing the study sessions. 2. Switching with multiple subjects. The first step is write every deadline of the task. After I write this in my digital sticky notes, then I will do my calendar. However, I made this Google Sheet for a basic example, but I don't use G-Sheets most of the time. Instead, I use Google Calendar. As you can see here, my Google Calendar is still empty because our second semester schedule is not yet posted and it is not yet given to us. So maybe I will make another video on how I prepare for the upcoming semester. But today, I'm going to show you how I do interleaving. For example, day 1, I have a physics class. After class, I review physics but don't do the assignment. In day 2, there is a calculus lecture. After class, I review calculus for 10 minutes and do the physics assignment. So I can recall the topics I learned yesterday. Day 3 is a lecture in biology. I will review biology for 10 minutes, do the assignment in calculus, and review the physics. Like, you're going to have spaces in days. So, there goes how I effectively get work done in university. There are tons of study systems, but this system personally works for me. The most important takeaway is being intentional with your time. Living with clear intentions goes against the powerful natural tendency to be reactive and depressed. Additionally, resisting the temptation of immediate pleasure, like after 30 minutes of review is 3 hours of screen time. Wow! Celebrate or reward yourself after your accomplishments. It's called delayed gratification. It teaches us to have self-control and discipline. And do not be so hard on yourself because at the end of the day, life is too short to punish yourself. So that's all. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, guys. Blessing to your hands.